Esther Jay. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming back. If this is your first time, I say welcome to you. I have been sharing my journey and my experiences so far as a mother with an autistic child. So if this is your first time, please watch my previous videos so you can see what I have shared so far. You can understand the purpose of my videos. Today I am going to be sharing with you how I took my daughter's assessment. Okay, so last week I shared with you how she was assessed and confirmed that she has autism and learning disability. And I also shared with you the signs that you should look out for if you suspect that your child might have a form of special needs. So today I'm going to be sharing with you, how I took it afterwards. My daughter has been assessed. She's been diagnosed. Diagnosis has been confirmed, and like I said last week, I screamed. I screamed and I cried, and that was how I took it. And I left and we went home. And like I said last week, when we were going for that assessment, my husband did not go with us. So when I got home, obviously he asked, okay, how was the assessment and how did it go? I did not answer because I was still in shock. So this guy was looking at me and wondering, what happened where you went? I didn't say anything. I continued my daily business at home, cleaning, ironing, going up and down, and I was very quiet. I was in shock. I was just moving around like a zombie, doing things. He kept asking me, and maybe later on in the day I had to tell him. I cried and I told him, I said, they said Gracie has a disability. And he kept quiet, and it took time for him to actually process it. And he thought of it for a few seconds and he thought, nah, she doesn't have any disability, don't listen to them. And I was in denial as well that no, my child cannot have a disability. How come? Why? Where is that coming from? And he too was in denial. So we were both in denial. That was how we started this journey. However, I was still very, very upset that I was there alone to hear the result of the assessment. I grew up in Nigeria. I had no experiences or had no contact with any child that with disability. Obviously, we would see people on the streets with physical disability that would be begging for money, and people would give them money, but those were physical disability. I'd never seen anyone with a mental disability apart from maybe somebody who is mental. But in Africa, in Nigeria, when somebody is mental, they don't leave them. They tie them, and when they leave them, they just wander on the streets, just go around eating from beans and all that stuff. But they are adults, not children. And obviously when you ask, oh, what's wrong with that person, they will tell her, oh, maybe somebody made them crazy. Maybe it was a jazz, or somebody cursed them, or or somebody cast a spell on them. That was our understanding and our belief. This was my first time of encountering somebody with a mental disability, and this happens to be my child. So I was very distraught. I was broken. I remember there was a day at church when our Sunday school teacher told us that we were going to be having a Christmas party for some special guests. And they said they were going to select some of us Sunday school children to represent the whole of the Sunday school children to welcome our guests and to be part of that party. were to sing, for them, interact with them, just be with them. And they did say that they were children as well, but they didn't tell us anything else. So I happened to be one of the children that were selected, and I was very excited. Obviously, everybody came in their best frocks, and it was Christmas time. So I guess my mom must have bought me a really nice dress, socks, everything on point, and we came for the party. And I remember that day, when the church buses went to pick them and the church buses arrived, the Sunday school teachers told us to be in a line. We're all in a line, and the church buses were in front of us, and the children were being brought out of the bus. And we were all there singing, welcoming them, and suddenly I started to see that these children were not like the children that I had seen before. They were special needs children, physically, mentally, everything. They started to bring down wheelchairs, and they started to lift the children and put them on the wheelchair. They were lifting them, putting them on the wheelchair, and the children that were able to walk, they were dribbling. They were physically not okay, and some of them were autistic. Flapping their hands and jumping and making noises. And to me, I was seeing that for the first time. I was shocked. I was like, what is this? And suddenly I started to cry. I am very, very emotional. So I started to cry. I was just crying my eyes out. I felt sorry for these children. And I was thinking, where did they get so many children with disabilities? Where? I just didn't know where they came from. I started to cry, and I did not enjoy that party that day. I was not even able to interact. I just felt so sorry for them, and I cried. And my teachers did say to me, it's okay, go and speak to them. And I will go and speak to them. And as I'm speaking to them and I see the way they were behaving, I would just cry. I just felt sorry for them. So that was what happened, and that was my first time having an encounter with special needs children in Nigeria. And after that day, I never saw them again. And I remember later on, after my daughter was assessed, I did ask people, where are all the special needs children in Nigeria? Where? How come we don't see them like we see them here? I will tell you what I was told later on. Anyway, so that was that story. So I did not accept the fact that Gracie had special needs, and I was in denial, and I could not tell anybody. I did not tell my friends. I couldn't tell my family. I thought I was ashamed to say that I have a special need child. I was very, very ashamed. And I think it's because, I believe in Africa, it's like a taboo to have a special need child. It's a taboo. So I couldn't tell anybody. And my husband was grieving, but he could not even speak to me about his grief. I was grieving. I was quiet, and that was the way I chose to grieve. I was very quiet. I was not talking about it. I was in my own world. Few days after the assessment, obviously the doctors would have written to the social services team, and a lady came to my house, knocked on my door, and I opened the door for her. And then she now said to me that she has been assigned to be Gracie's social worker. And she gave me some leaflets. And also she gave me a form. And she said I should complete that form and send it off. And the form is for disability living allowance. And I asked her, what is this going to do? Is it going to help Gracie? Is she going to feel better if I complete this form? And she said, no. It's to support us financially. And I didn't get it. I said, what do you mean? She said, yeah, this form, if you complete it, you send it off, then it would help you and it would support your family financially, because now that she's special, you would need financial help. And as soon as I heard that, I was grieving, remember, I was very upset. I was angry, and I said to her, and I asked her, I said, did we ask you for financial support? Did I tell you that we are in need of money? Why have you come today to tell me to apply for disability living allowance? I wasn't saying it nicely as I'm saying it now. I was screaming at this woman. I'm so sorry. I just pray she forgives me. I was screaming. And I asked her to leave my house. I opened the door. I said, leave my house now. She hesitated a bit. I said, if you don't, I threatened her. And the woman quickly packed her things and left. And I slammed the door behind her. As soon as I slammed the door, I grieved and I cried. And I was just totally broken. And like I said to you, I took 3.5 years of work. And I didn't know Gracie was special need. But because of what my first daughter Debbie went through and the hands of different nannies, I decided to stay home to take care of Gracie. And you know, I am just so happy I did this, because I know that if I had taken her to the nanny, I might possibly be thinking that, oh, maybe the nanny did something to her, or maybe something happened. Later on, I remember that somebody told me or reminded me. I remember I took my daughter to America when she was 1, and my eldest daughter was 5. We went to America to visit my friend, and we stayed in their house. American houses are massive, not like the UK, and their stairs are like, ooh, long. I remember when we were there, there was a day, Gracie was only 1 year old. She turned 1 in August, and we went there in November. And I remember Gracie fell down the stairs, and it was a big fall. And I had forgotten about this. One day, one of my cousins told me that, oh, remember you told us that Gracie fell down the stairs when you were in America. Could this be the reason why she has a mental disability? And when she told me that, and I started to think about that, I did not forgive myself for a very long time. I blamed myself for Gracie being in that situation. I blamed myself for allowing her to fall down the stairs that day. Even though I didn't push her, but I just thought that I didn't care for her enough. So because of that, that sets me into depression. So I didn't forgive myself. And also, like I said to you, I am grateful that I did not take MMR for her, because at that time there was so much uproar about the fact that MMR was the cause of autism, and I didn't get MMR for Gracie. So thank God that was not part of my grief. I started to grieve. I started to blame myself, and I was in denial. I did not believe Gracie has that special need. I didn't believe she's got special need. So I started to seek for help. I started to think how I would get her delivered. Let me tell you something. If you're an African and you're watching me, please, please, please know that these children are special, and they're from God. They are from God. Nobody has cast a spell on them. Nobody can curse them. Nobody has done anything to them. And the fact that they're special need does not mean that it's your fault. It's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with me. Nobody has done it. These are children that just came to you to care for. So please don't blame yourself. I blamed myself, and because I blamed myself, I delayed my healing. And I was sick for a very long time. And when I say sick, I was mentally sick, because I did not believe that she was special needs. So I was depressed. And if you're depressed, you cannot help your child. You cannot help your children. You cannot think straight. So you need to start to believe that these children are special and try and get help for them. Claiming disability living allowance does not mean that you do not believe that God can heal them. I believe God can heal Gracie. I know. But if I get a disability living allowance, it does not make my faith less than what it is. It doesn't mean that I do not believe in God. So please, my advice to you today is get any help that you need to get. Do not blame yourself. It has nothing to do with anybody, with witchcraft, with voodoo. Nobody casts a spell on them. These are normal children. And God has given them to us for us to care for them. I will be sharing with you what I was told when people start to notice that my child has special need. And next week I will share with you how I suffered depression. I do not want anybody to go through that. Hence the reason I am sharing my story. And also, I will be sharing with you what even families told me about my child. So please, take it that the child has special need and seek help. Seek early help. Don't be in denial like me. If you have a child that has been diagnosed with special need, share your story with me. If you have any questions, put it in the comment box. Let's be interactive. Share with me how your child was diagnosed. How did you take it? How did your husband take it? Next week, I will share with you how my husband took it and how I went into depression and the things that I was going to do when I was in this depression. So stay tuned and I'll see you next week. Please share this video with anyone that you think would benefit from this. Don't forget to subscribe, and once you subscribe, press the bell. That is the notification bell, because that is the only way you'll be notified when I upload my next video. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Until then, take care. Bye.